What is going on, Governors? Chisgule here, and today our restart project, our 13 million power account, is in Season 1 of KvK, and we're at war. What you're about to watch is a series of rallies and flag defenses where we're playing on our, I guess it's 14 million power account. It'll drop down to 13 million power over the course of this video. Our restart project, which is in Kingdom 1507, is now in Season 1 of KvK, and the madness is beginning. The passes have opened. Oh my goodness, are we glad that we trained a lot of troops before that happened. What we're going to show you in this video is a handful of the rallies that took place. We noticed this happening late at night. We jump on, we were gathering, whatever. You know, we're looking at our main account, doing stuff on our main, and then next thing we know, our restart project is at war. So we recall our troops from a resource node, which is why we're not teleported in to this particular defense. I suppose if I was being really slick, I could have just teleported with them in one of our flags, or even staying in the resource node anyways. I didn't really need those siege units. In hindsight, that would have been a much better choice. Anyways, war is here. Now, the alliances that we're battling against have some powerful players, and thankfully there was a 50 million power player who was captaining the defense in this particular instance. They're using a level 46. I know, right? 46 Richard I and Sun Tzu. Of course, Sun Tzu is a very powerful garrison commander, and Richard I is pretty spectacular too. Bummer they didn't have an expertise or even highly skilled Yi Song-ye to be involved in this defense. Here they've launched a counter rally onto the enemy's rally, which is a brilliant move on their part and is going to be pretty gosh darn effective at getting the edge on this defense, and it's going to force the attackers to fall back. Now, if you like Rise of Kingdoms videos where we are at war, consider liking and subscribing. This is one of many KvK war videos that you'll get to see. Right now, we're playing at the low end of power. We're at 14 million. Our main account is 137 million, so you can see quite a range of what combat can look like. All right, now that defense has ended. We fast forward a little bit in our footage, which is playing at 2x speed, by the way. We teleport in, and we need to make our way up to the front line where Baked Mufasa is launching a rally. We want to be a part of that. Now, in order to get to that rally, we do a classic technique that we've used many times in the past. We leapfrog from city to city to city. So even though the opposing side owns the field at this moment in time, we use cities to navigate very cleanly. If you want to do that perhaps a little more expertly, I would recommend using your Ethelflaed as the primary, leveraging hasty departure to get a really fast jump, 60% lift when you're leaving a structure. Here we make our way over to a safe place from which we can join the rally, and boom, we join into the rally. At the captain of this rally is Julius Caesar with Hannibal Barca. That Julius Caesar is a level 50 but 6-star Julius Caesar, and behind him is an expertise Hannibal Barca. Julius Caesar also expertise. We found that offense went incredibly well, and so Baked Mufasa started to really press that edge using offensive rallies to get big deaths, and we'll show you what that looked like. Now, in the defense, we see there is a Richard I, and it looks like also there might be an Yi Song-ye, so you're going to want to stay certainly away from that flag, and I'm sure that you all know this, but I see this mistake being made all the time, where if you are near a flag that is being attacked by your alliance, if the flag does AoE damage, they hit you, you're going to have dead troops, 100% dead, instead of severely wounded. So be very careful about going near a flag. And even if it looks like it's okay to be near the flag because it's, Richard and Charles or Wu Zetian and Richard, they can swap anytime to a combination that does area of effect damage, and you will get wrecked if you're standing next to that flag. don't do it. We even get a little bit wrecked just trying to reinforce one of these later rallies, and we do have that footage. You'll get to see it. Now, a part of what is happening here that is making our rallies so successful is that the enemy is not committing to keeping their flag full. So at some point, we've got nearly 1.5 million troops, and they've got 300,000, 400,000, 500,000, and even though they've got level 60 commanders, it doesn't so much matter, because if they don't have enough troops, it's not gonna go well. We'll have the report available to look at in a minute. Right now, the Alliance Han is in control of that open field. This one player, by the way, I think Amber is trying to join the rally, but accidentally attacked the flag. They have probably got a lot of dead troops. You really want to be careful in a war zone to not accidentally target something that you think you're reinforcing, but you're actually going to end up attacking. Or, this situation is actually very common. For instance, people are switching between alliances. You may see a name that you recognize as from your alliance. They're actually in a different alliance. You drag and drop to reinforce their city. You end up attacking it instead. You get a lot of dead troops. That may or may not be something that we've seen happen recently. So, this battle lasted quite some time. We periodically scout in to see, are they keeping it full, and they're not, which to me was a strong indicator to keep the pressure up, keep that rally going. And now you notice I'm not in the open field at 14 million power. You may be thinking, like, Chisgule, why don't you have marches in the open field? At 14 million power, look, like, I'm a pawn. All right, I'm just here to fill the rallies, and it's a huge role. I actually indicate we need to cancel the rally because, we are not able to keep it full. There's no more people to reinforce it. Presumably everybody has. So we cancel the rally. It doesn't matter that it didn't burn as long as we got some favorable trades, and here you can see we did. 394,000 dead for us and almost 800,000 dead for them. That's the kind of positive trade we're looking for. And the reason, again, I'm not fighting in that open field, and pawn is really that's too strong of a description here. What I really mean is that the amount of effect I'm going to have is probably going to cost me a lot battling into 20 to 30 million power players and not accomplish a whole heck of a lot, given that we don't need to own the field. We just need to get in the rally. All right, so now another rally has launched. This time I take my own advice using those hasty departure talents from Ethelfled to make my way over to where the rally is. This is a pretty solid tactic, and yes, although it's at 2x speed, you can see we're going pretty gosh darn quickly to get to where we need to get to. Now the rally has actually launched, and we will try to reinforce it. Now we're going to make a mistake here. This is where we try to be smart about how we reinforce it. We're going to go to the logging node here. We're going to go to the lumberyard, and then we're going to go reinforce the rally. And we're trying to dodge getting hit by the AoE, but look at that. We got wrecked by that AoE. We had 11,000 troops die from that one freaking AoE. I don't know. I guess we could have timed that better or something, but I feel like the pathing was totally weird. It went up and then down, whatever. As we saw those rallies were going well, we continued to press that edge, and the challenge that I think we're facing as an alliance and a kingdom at this moment is that it seems like there's a concentrated group that is doing a strong amount of fighting, and if the full of the kingdom were in this position as well, we probably could have put a lot of pressure onto this alliance, even though the alliance we're battling against in this particular instance has almost double the power of the alliance that we're in, which obviously is a problem. Now, thankfully, in this case, we have some pretty solid builds on our commanders. This is in part because, the builds that were already in use were pretty solid, but I gave a little bit of advice on how they could strengthen those. Those are some of my classic builds, by the way. They're available in my Discord. A link is in the description, as well as in previous videos that we have done for rallying flags, for defending flags, all that sort of good stuff. So this rally is going pretty well, and even at 2x speed, you can see that these rallies last a very, very long time. You know at this point that as a defender, they can have an infinite number of marches in that flag, including multiple marches from the same player, whereas a rally can only have one march of troops per player that is reinforcing the rally, and that distinction is pretty gosh darn important. It means that a rally has limited gas, whereas a defense could theoretically go on for as long as the defenders have the stomach to continue to lose troops while doing that defense. In this instance, we are swarming around the flag, we being our alliance. This makes me actually pretty uncomfortable due to the risk of AoE, and you have seen over the course of this video a not small number of players end up getting hit by that AoE, pretty substantially reducing the total value that we're getting. Here is another 2-for-1, and actually better than 2-for-1 trade. 291,000 dead for us, 684,000 dead for them. It probably evens out to be 2-for-1 when you think of all of the AoE that they did, killing some of our troops, that's not really represented in this report. The reason that that's the case is that our report can see damage we have done, but only their report will show the sum total of armies that they have attacked. Here's the commanders that were in that particular structure. Richard was expertise, and we are looking at a 5-5-2-4 E-Song for the defender, which is really, really strong. I think our E-Song is in a similar sort of a spot right now. On our restart project, we put literally every sculpture we've got into E-Song. Now, this particular assault is going really, really well, and in my opinion, we really should have continued to keep up the pressure after this particular flag started to burn. It was pretty gosh darn late at night when this was happening. I believe that this flag ultimately was burned, and then we left that as sort of like a buffer. In my opinion, should have probably pushed us for as long and as far as we could get while the momentum was in our favor. And while clearly there was not a ability at this moment in time to get the right defense in place. Now, this is an important moment to point out that if you look closely at some of those reports I was sharing earlier, you can see that our tech is much better than that of the defenders. That is because you can see our stats are way higher. Our attack, our defense, our health by each unit type, and that's very important. Something I learned early on in War in My Own Kingdom, original Kingdom 51. That's the Marvel Wars. I'll put a playlist up in the top. It was an amazing experience. You should really go check that out. We were defending some flags at one point, and I'll put a card up for that video as well, where like we got pretty wrecked. And it was because we were basically battling a T5 player, and we weren't T5. We were like 25 million power. You should not be the captain of a defense, even if you've got the right commanders, if you don't have the right tech to support it. And at this point, also, gear is really important. So as we get into the final report of this video, where we really did work, 138,000 dead for us, 370,000 dead for them, I would recommend that you check with your alliance members, make sure that they are prepared to launch rallies and defend stuff when you're in KvK. If you like this video, please do like and subscribe, and until next time, you have fun smashing the kingdom.